So to start out, do you mind introducing yourself to me and telling me your relation to Wanda?
Sure. Well, my name is Jeremy Slager, and I know Wanda Bowman as Nanny because I married Juliana Rubio, and so she's my grandmother-in-law, but very much grandmother in love.
I love that. How would you describe her to a stranger?
If I was describing Nanny to a stranger, I would say look for the person that is incredibly generous and is the person that is going to be organizing to make sure that everybody is having a great time.
That's so beautiful. I love this conversation already. What do you love about her?
She is the one that, whether you have talked to her recently or not, you can always talk to her and she's going to be the one that's on your side. If you're having a problem or you're having trouble, you know that Nanny is always a phone call away and she's going to drop whatever she has going on and make sure that you are taken care of. And so whatever issues you have going on in your life, Nanny's going to be the one that's going to come to your rescue. She's always there to help.
What life lessons has she taught you?
I have seen her be incredibly hardworking, and also she wants to create a beautiful space for people. So whenever we've come to visit Nanny, she's really shown me the value of hospitality and of making sure that people are feeling warm and welcome and taken care of.
People that know her like on the business side but don't know her as a family member,
Yeah.
What do you know that other people don't? Is there anything that would surprise people like about her?
I'm not sure what people's perspective of her from work are. I know that she's been Businesswoman of the Year. She's been running a very successful business for a long time. And I imagine having run a successful business, that her employees probably see her as somebody who's really focused on succeeding and hitting goals. I think they would probably be surprised at how much she cares about the individuals that she is employing and how she cares that they have a good life, that they are well taken care of, that she's wanting to do what's best for them, and how much she thinks about that during her life. I think there's a lot of people that would just be concerned with their own life and getting on with it, but she really knows a lot about and takes care of the people that she is employing. Beautiful.
You've given me so many great answers. Is there anything I'm missing? Like, is there anything that you would like to, for people to know about her, or for her to know about her, and just the life she's lived?
I think just she's been one that has believed in my wife from the beginning. So my wife wanted to be a ballerina her whole life, since she was a little kid. And Nanny and Grandpa, so Wanda and Bob, were her biggest supporters growing up. They never missed a show. They never missed a chance to congratulate her and believe in her. And from the very beginning of her starting her own professional company, they were the biggest supporters of it. And so her belief and faith in my wife is a big part of who we are today, and has allowed us to start the life that we have, and very grateful for that.
One theme I'm already hearing, and that I've heard from my own family, is just like her support. Like, even if she's not invested, like even if she has nothing to do with it, like she will still be like the number one supporter, like helping people follow their dreams. Does that sound about right?
Yeah. Nanny's the type of person that loves seeing other people succeed and of being a part of that success. So she is able to she started from nothing when her and Bob started their businesses, and has grown into a very successful person. And it's been amazing to see her take that, not just to have that success for herself, but she wants to use that to see other people succeed. And that is a theme that I hear of people that know Wanda, is she is invested in their success and she wants to see them as the best versions of themselves, as happy as they can be, and she loves being a part of that.
And finally, kind of in closing, any words of gratitude, like specifically for her, or any message you would want her to see when this is all put together?
Yeah, I think just grateful for who she is, grateful that get to know her through the family that I'm married into, and it's just been a really big joy in my life to know her, to be a part of the family, and to be able to call her Nanny.
The name is Jerry Strange. I've been friends with Wanda for 49 years, with she and Bob.
Wonderful. If you were to introduce her to us, or if you were to explain her to a stranger, what would you tell a stranger about what Wanda is like?
She's dedicated to her family first, I believe, and then dedicated to making a living of necessity, of course, and which she's done very successfully. And I think she knows everybody in Las Cruces.
I think you're right.
Mm-hmm.
You see firsthand how hard she works. How hard does she work?
Well, she makes a habit of working 7 days a week as a matter of course, and has these many years. And in the various businesses they had over the years until the one she's involved with now.
What are her biggest passions?
Her family, I think, primarily. And of course, she's dedicated to her friends as well. And as I said before, of necessity, she's dedicated to making a living and growing it.
Beautiful. What would you want people to know about Wanda and what these 80 years have meant?
Well, first of all, take a good look at her. She doesn't look 80 years old. She's basically taken care of herself and her family all of these years, basically just keeping after it. And she's one of these folks that operates at 90 miles an hour all the time. And so it's either help me or get out of the way.
I love that. What do you think she has meant to this community? I hear a lot about how much she gives and supports others.
Well, we can start with the university. They have supported the university and university athletics. Her older son is a graduate of the engineering school here, and she has contributed to them and helped out all sorts of ways. But in innumerable times, especially since she's been in the Ashley store, she's in a position to let folks have things who really need it, who can't get it otherwise, like beds and things of that sort for kids who don't have a bed to sleep on, and stuff like that she's done all these years. And a lot of the things I suspect are more subtle, just in supporting the ongoing community.
Yeah, great job. What am I missing? What else should we talk about when bragging about Wanda and all she does?
Well, well, she enjoys, sitting with folks a bit from time to time when she has the time, and just the everyday things. She loves music. Actually taught piano for some years, amongst other things, including teaching her daughter, and all of those things. So.
Yeah, very nice, Peter.
Just give it a second for the.
Oh yeah, we'll wait just a moment. It's kind of a nice
5 o'clock.
Yeah, I think maybe last question for me is just kind of what do you love and appreciate about her and the type of person that she is?
Well, she's basically straightforward and sincere, and if she says something, that's it. you know, and basically takes care of business in all facets of whatever that means.
Very nice. Is there anything you'd like to add that I haven't asked you about?
No, I think we pretty much covered it.
Great job. Thank you, sir.
Rory, can you tell us who you are?
Like, what is your name?
Do you want to tell them what your name is?
Are you feeling shy all of a sudden?
Yeah.
So, Aurora Joy Slager, can you tell us about Great Nanny? What do you know about Great Nanny?
Dad, when you finish my video, can I get a new toy, please?
We're not going to bargain for a new toy right
Mm.
now. Are you excited to be at Great Nanny's party? Yeah. Can you maybe introduce to the camera, what are you holding? What's in your hands?
Thank for the unicorn dancing on rainbows.
Is that your pink fluffy unicorn? Yeah. Do you love your pink fluffy unicorn?
Yeah, I got it from Holiday World.
From Holiday World.
Andrew won it for me.
Yeah.
Nice.
Are you excited to be here? How did we get here? Did we...
Airplanes,
Yeah.
who kind of driving us.
Yeah. And do you know whose house we're in?
What?
Is this Great Nanny's house?
But I think Nick's house is down the stairs, basement.
Yeah. Are you so excited for Great Nanny's party?
Yeah.
Do you like Great Nanny's party?
I'm just too scared to do it.
Okay. It's all right. If you're too scared, we don't have to do it.
You're doing a really good job.
Yes, you are, Rory.
Yeah. What happens at the party? I haven't been before. What's going to happen when we celebrate Great Nanny?
My cousins.
Oh, your cousins are going to be there? Do you think you'll get to dance?
No, I'll go get Jake.
Okay, go away.
Is that a cousin?
That's his brother.
Oh, brother, very nice.
And my brother's sneaking out the window.
Yeah.
Are you going to do a dance at the party?
With 50.
Can you tell us about your dance? No?
I'm going to keep it a secret.
You want to keep it a secret? Okay.
Why are you so excited to dance?
Because it's my favorite.
Yeah. Is there something you like about Great Nanny? Do you like parties? All right. Is there anything else you wanted to say, Roy? Okay.
Stay still for a sec, babe.
You did a great
You've
job.
done a
Nice
great
job, Rory.
buddy. Okay.
All righty. Will you introduce yourself and tell me your relationship to Miss Wanda?
Yes, my name's Kathleen Jane Bowman Rubio, and I am Wanda's daughter, her oldest child.
Wow. I love that. How would you describe her to a stranger who had never met her?
She is gregarious. What else? She's very friendly, generous, outspoken. What else would I use to describe her? Tender-hearted. I think that would probably cover a lot of her characteristics.
What was it like growing up with her? What was it like having her as your mother?
There's lots. She was fun, full of fun. So our family life, I think, had a lot of fun elements in it. She was pretty organized, so I think that was a real benefit for a busy, growing family that had a lot going on with 3 kids and a business and just a busy household. What else? She always had a lot of irons in the fire. So I think it wasn't just the busyness of 3 children growing up, but also the busyness of the things that she and my dad loved to do. So there's always lots of activity, lots of people around, lots of extra people at the table, or parties that were happening at home, which were all really great things. We got exposed to a lot of people, a lot of different activities and cultures, and all of those were really strong memories for me.
You're doing a beautiful job.
Oh,
I
thank
love
you.
this. What is it like seeing her? What is she like as you've seen her, a grandmother and a great-grandmother?
As a grandmother, she has always been really engaged with her grandchildren. So my husband and I live in Michigan, so our 7 children were never close by for her to just see on a weekly or monthly basis. But she did a great job of engaging with them, coming frequently to see them and be part of their lives and their activities, whether that was sports or dance or music. She and my dad both did a really great job of making sure to be there and be with them and cheer them on. Trying to think, even as they grew into adulthood, she's always been a big supporter, and they have really strong relationships with her, and they did with my dad as well. And as a great grandma, she loves to spoil the babies. Sometimes she's got less ability to really be in the thick of it, but I think, she loves them, and it's nice for them to know who she is and that she's so healthy and active. When I think of my childhood and great-grandparents, they just seemed so ancient. It was hard to relate to who they were, but I think these children will have a really strong memory of who she is.
Wonderful. What do you think she means to this community, and what does this community mean to her, really? It seems like she's just poured and poured. Any thoughts on that topic?
I left Las Cruces when I was 18 because I went up to Albuquerque to go to school and then met my husband and we moved to the Midwest. So I haven't been in the front row seat, so to speak, to see her input and influence in the community. But from the time they moved to Las Cruces, I think they began to first of all just get to know the culture and the people, which is very different from where my mom and dad came from in the Midwest in Illinois. And then as their business flourished and succeeded over the years through different, they had electronics and pianos and that kind of stuff, keyboards, organs, and then it went into more of a Curtis Mathes TV business and washers and dryers, and then on to the furniture business. So a lot of different things over the years. I think she got to know a lot of people. Because my mom is such a gregarious person, she was really that forward face to the community. And just her getting to know people, always thinking about people who were not as successful and wanting to be a blessing to them and reach out to them, making sure that she was supporting those in need in the community and always reaching out. And so it's been wonderful to see her, hear her heart, when she calls and says, I've got 150 letters to read through or whatever, and I'm trying to decide who, to give beds to for Christmas or any of those kinds of things. She's just always had her hands in that generosity. And I know that my dad, when he was alive, that was a real big part of what he wanted to do as well.
Are there life lessons that she has taught you that you will always lean on?
Probably, yeah. Sorry? I think the generosity is a big one of them. Always set an extra plate at the table, or maybe 2 or 5, I'm much more introverted than my mom, but I'm happy to have a huge number of people at home. So kind of as an introverted homebody, just have the party come to the house. And I love seeing that even this weekend as, people just keep arriving and keep arriving and keep arriving. And it's like, oh, get out some more plates. Let's set up another table. Let's put some more chairs. And I love that aspect of hospitality.
What do you think brings her the most joy?
I think at the end of the day, watching the successes of others. I mean, she's enjoyed her own successes, no doubt. But really when she sees her children, her grandchildren, and now as the little great-grandchildren are beginning to grow up, I hear the joy in her voice when they succeed. Whether that's winning at a sport or pulling off a recital or running their own business, all of those things, I think she gets a lot of joy in seeing another generation succeed and come along. I think that's the biggest thing, is really watching others succeed. I see that even outside of the family. She sees young entrepreneurs or people that she's mentored over the years. As they achieve success, she feels a real pride in that success as well.
So beautiful. What am I missing? Is there anything else that you would, like anything else about her that I should know and that I don't know? Just because I haven't known her for very long.
That's a good question.
Any great characteristics or lessons or... I'm kind of curious what fuels her, because I think of 80 and I don't think of Wanda Bowman.
Yeah.
Like I don't think, like she's,
I think she's highly competitive, and I think that may be part of what fuels her. She loves to win a game. She loves to kind of be on top. She loves to see the numbers go up, any of those things, but not no, I have to beat you and put you down kind of way. Just in a success-driven sort of way. And I think that that's the best of competitiveness, is that, just wanting to be better, compete with herself maybe in a lot of ways. So I love that aspect many times of her competitiveness. I'll be honest, there sometimes I've said, wait a minute, I don't want to compete, so let's not. But I do love that, and I think it is what drives her to be who she is, and still at 80 years old, go, 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 go. And sometimes it's concerning to me, does she drive herself too hard? But she loves what she does, and I wouldn't want to slow her down. I want her to do all the things that she wants to do and be all the things that she wants to be. So,
I think I'm the most surprised that even in my family, I've heard stories, not from me asking, but they have just told me. And it's like my father, and then my sister, and then like my nephews, that she has impacted each generation.
Right.
And that she's so willing to help support other people succeed. I just think that just really impresses me.
Yeah, I think, she's not just there to see herself succeed, but to see other people succeed. And she loves that when she sees that same fire in somebody else, to really kind of come alongside them, to watch them grow and watch them kind of take off, kind of push them out of the nest, so to speak, so that they're succeeding as well. Yeah. So I know that she loves to watch other people accomplish things.
Mm-hmm. Any final thoughts or words of gratitude, anything you would want her to know?
Probably just thanks for being who you are. You're a unique, special person. Glad your mom.
So great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Just for reference, how many siblings do you have? How many?
I have 2 younger brothers. Okay. So my brother Curtis, who will be back. I mean, they're both here. Curtis is with his wife and most of her, or several of her family members in Cloudcroft, and they'll be back sometime this evening.
Yeah.
So, and then Paul is the youngest of us, and he, kind of a long story, but he's gone to, he's in Baltimore currently, and he'll be back tomorrow. So he and his wife and children have moved to Gaithersburg, Maryland, and long story short, she ended up with COVID, but he went to get the kids so they can be here.
Oh,
so
good.
He's on the way, and they'll be back tomorrow. So
wow.
A little bit of craziness, yeah. It looked like they weren't going to come in. Actually, that's probably one of her biggest disappointments when she found out earlier this week that maybe the 2 grandkids weren't going to be here. But he's gone to get them, and they'll be back.
Oh, good.
So 3 children, and how many grandchildren?
So she has 3 children, 7, 8, 9, 12 grandchildren, and 6 great-grandchildren.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And more to come, hopefully. So 7 of those 12 grandchildren are my children, so I'm still hoping I've got 5 of the great-grandchildren. I'm hoping to have many more, but we'll see. Yeah.
Oh, that's so fun. What a fun family.
So I would say that's something, I didn't think of that. That's something else I really value about her, is her value of family. You know, she definitely, even though she has really succeeded well in career and her life outside of family, she still deeply values her family. So sometimes for a lot of people, it's a pick or choose, but I think she's done an amazing job succeeding in both areas.
How was she able to do both? Like whenever, like what makes her a great like family member? Like how did you see that?
You know, growing up, I think because my parents were entrepreneurs, they decided that family was important and their business was important, and they did a lot of both. And that meant that as kids, we grew up at their store, a lot of times helping in their store, working at their store. And then they took time for family. It wasn't that we were always just part of the business. They also sometimes would take little weekend trips, and we'd go to some place like Mogollon and spend the weekend in Mogollon and explore little places around New Mexico. And so they found a way somehow to balance the needs of their business and the needs of their family. I'm sure it wasn't easy. You know, as an adult, I think, how did they do that? But they did a great job of doing both things and really loving on their family and pouring into their business to make it succeed over the years. So, yeah, I love that she's really loves her family, supports her family, wants to be there for her family. And so she's 100% in when she's home and doing her business and going to work. And she's 100% in when she's with family and, loving on her grandchildren or her great-grandchildren.
Being present. That's a great lesson.
Absolutely, being present. I think you're right. That's a good word for it. Yeah.
Great addition. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Ruben Rubio. I'm her grandson through her daughter. I'm the fourth child of theirs, so middle child. Yeah.
Wonderful. Great answer. How would you describe her to a stranger?
She's very energetic, extroverted. She loves to talk, loves to get to know people, learn their story. She's very generous, and that's one thing that I really love about her personality is that her generosity.
Will you help me understand what you mean generosity? Like what kind of generosity?
Both in terms of she gives a lot of energy and like emotional investment in you as a person, and both that and materially generous with her money and time.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about like people saying that she just kind of pours into you, like she believes in you. How has that helped you? Like what does like her time and how has that helped you grow?
For me, just kind of that confidence to not be afraid to try things, not be afraid to fail. That she's always going to be there for you, to kind of help you get back up when you do fail. So don't be afraid to try new things, and yeah.
Beautifully said. Yeah, you're doing a great job. I don't know. What do you love about her as a grandmother?
One of the greatest things as far as like a grandparent relationship is both her and Grandpa Bob. They were very much instilled in us a spirit of adventure. So from a young age, she took us on our fifth birthday, or the year we turned 5, to Disney. And that's a super magical place. There's lots of different things, lots of different experiences. And then basically ever since then, all of us grandchildren have been super interested in traveling the world, learning new cultures, different languages, trying new things. And so that's one of the big things, as a grandma, she kind of instilled in me.
That's a beautiful answer. I love that. That's really neat. What do you think fuels her? Like she has countless hours of energy, and what do you think kind of tickles her? Like what makes her happy?
I think a portion of that is motivated by her faith, trying to be the light that you want to see in the world. And just kind of, who she is. She's just someone who likes to be a part of the action, likes to be out there, gets fueled by the energy from other people.
I've noticed that from all different generations and ages of people, from an outsider perspective, it seems like she treats everyone the same. Is that the case? Like, does she love everyone equally?
Yeah, she definitely relates well to all ages. She gets along with people her age who, to her they seem old. She's always moving, so she doesn't feel old. She relates well with her children and grandchildren, and now even the great grandchildren. She's always having fun with them, talking to them about what they're doing, you know, in their lives, which is obviously much different than what her stage of life is.
Nice. What's your stage of life? What are you up to in life right now? What do you do?
I am a software engineer, so I do a lot of coding and programming for websites and apps. And so, you know, I'm relatively early in my career, but, you know, I lean on her for a lot of advice, especially what to do with finances to kind of make sure I'm set up for my future and, you know, future family or whatnot.
Yeah. Is there anything that you have learned from her regarding like business and just like overall life success?
Yeah. I'm also feel like, you know, I try to emulate her generosity when I can, because I feel like it's important to give back to the people around you to help them out if you're in a more fortunate situation than them. And that's something I picked up from her.
So beautiful. Is there anything else you'd like to share about her or say to her that I haven't asked you about?
Just that, you know, I love you, Nanny, and, you know, I'm glad that you've been around this long, and I hope we get a good long time more with you.
Beautifully said. Great job. And you're done. Peter, anything else?
No, I was just kind of asking the same thing another way, but like maybe things that were important like in your own childhood that like, you know, like you see her and you're like, oh, that's where it came from. Like it kind of like trickled down to the like next generation and the next generation. But like nuggets, I don't know if there's anything that comes to mind or if like you've already covered it. But
One thing that comes to mind kind of in regards to that is kind of we have this inside joke. We call it the Atwood curse. So her parents were the Atwoods, and it's this just, you know, deep from the belly laughter that's just uncontrollable. And, you know, it's something that you'll see her doing, you'll see my mom doing, and all of us kind of do that too. It's just super joyful.
My name is Alicia Rubio. I am Nanny's youngest grandchild. Well, I guess I'm not her youngest. I'm her youngest on the Rubio side. That was perfect.
If you were to describe her to a stranger who'd never met her, how would you describe her?
That's a good question. I'd say that Nanny is a leader and someone who you know what she's thinking. She's proud and she's loud and she's boisterous and fun and joyful.
Lovely. What has she taught you? What kind of life lessons have you learned from her?
From her, I've learned to be tenacious. I think that's a really good one. She's really just like a go-getter and someone who's very determined and motivated, and that's something I've been able to pick up from her, just to follow my dreams and to do things and do them well.
Nice. Any examples of things you've been willing to try or things you've accomplished because of her?
Yeah, absolutely. So some of the things that I've been inspired to do because of her are like following my dreams and my passion to be a law student. So that's something I was scared of for a long time, but she was someone that came to me and was like, you know, you don't have to be scared that you're not going to be enough to be able to follow your dreams. I think you should just try, and if this is something you really want, just go for it and see what happens.
That's epic. Like, that's so huge. At what age were you when you realized that?
Pretty recently, actually. Yeah, I just started my junior year in college, and I kind of switched majors during college. And so this is something I kind of switched to more recently within the last couple years. And she was really great for inspiring me with that.
What is she good at?
Oh, Nanny's good at a lot of things. She's really organized, which is something I really admire because I'm not personally someone who's super organized. She's also very bold and willing to try new things. I remember one time she went skiing as like a 67-year-old woman, went water skiing on a lake with us, which was a really fun memory for me. We called her Hot Rod Nanny. That was our nickname for her because she would just do all these things.
This is the best interview. Don't tell anybody else. That's just so funny. Peter, you got any questions? She's such a go-getter. What I've heard, and coming from my family, is that like she's so supportive like of other people.
Absolutely.
Like, do you think she gets as much joy watching someone else succeed as her own success?
Oh, 100%. Like, she's always been there for all of our big like accomplishments, like when I graduated, like when all of my siblings have graduated or gotten married, or big like accomplishments in their work or careers. She's always been there to support and just like smile and hug us and give us words of encouragement.
Incredible. Is there anything she can't do?
Not in my opinion. She's my grandma, so I think that she can do anything she wants to.
Any final like words of gratitude for her, or anything you'd want her to know about how she's impacted your life?
Yeah. I love her. She's been such an influence in my family and just been so supportive of all of us ever since we were just little kids. She's been someone who's brought joy into our household, made holidays so much fun, made birthdays amazing, and just been there for us for always.
Does she make everything better?
Oh yeah. She makes everything better. Even trail mix. She has a specific type of trail mix that she makes that's so much better than normal trail mix, and I don't know why, but it is.
So good. I love it. Anything else you want to share with me or her? Anything that you'd want, I don't know, people to know about what she means to you?
She's just a really big inspiration for me, and just someone I look up to a lot as a role model, and I really appreciate everything that she's done, and I see how hard she's worked in her life to get where she is, and I hope that I can do the same.
My name is Raquel Rubio. I am the 5th child of her daughter, Kathleen, so I'm her granddaughter.
Very nice. If you were to describe her to a stranger, what would you say about her? How would you describe her?
In one word, I would say ambition. She is the kind of person that has a dream and figures out how to make that dream happen and then follows it through to the end. She has been a huge inspiration to me in that manner, a lot of other things too, but that specifically in the way that she and my grandpa formed their business and built it from the ground up and have now built something that's really beautiful in a way that she can give back to the community that she's in now. So yeah, that would be my biggest thing that I would describe to.
Beautiful. Do you have any example of how she's inspired you, or how she's helped support you in some way?
Yes, I have a story actually. One that she told us, she's told us many times, but when she and my grandpa were first married, they had a spice cake for their wedding. So, you know, everybody has a wedding cake. They had a spice cake. And they were so poor afterwards that they ended up eating that spice cake for a week after they first got married because they couldn't afford anything else. And they went from that, and obviously now you've seen this house and the business that she's built. She has a bunch of rental properties, and just the way that she has come from very humble beginnings. She started the daughter of a pig farmer. She was there for a week just eating spice cake because she could afford nothing more. And now she is able to bless a lot of people with the things that she has been given, and she stewards so well. And that has been one of the biggest inspirations to me, the way that she is so determined, but then she uses what she has to help other people. She's not a person that just keeps stuff for herself, but that she's a firm believer that like, this is not gonna go with me after I'm gone, and so why not use it to help people while I'm here? I love that about her.
I feel like she's like my new life goal. Like I want to be Wanda Bowman.
Yeah, she's pretty much a rock star.
Oh, that's so great. How have you seen her help this community and give back? Like, is there anything that has stuck out to you?
She does a program pretty much every Christmas that I can remember, where she gives beds to kids who need them. So there's a lot of poverty in the state in general. A lot of people here who don't have homes, who have a home but maybe don't have anything to sleep on at all. They're sleeping on the floor, or they have maybe one bed and the whole family shares one bed. So that's something that she does every Christmas, and she gives away sometimes 50 plus beds for kids who need somewhere to sleep. And these are not just like sham beds. It's not just, you know, a mattress or something. She gives them the whole thing. She moves it into there and has it built for them. Just out of the goodness of her heart. She loves Christmas, she loves children, and she loves to give. So that's something that she does every year.
So wonderful. You're doing such a good job. Is there anything else that you would want people to know as far as how much she has like inspired you or blessed your life, or lessons that she has taught you?
Yeah, I think she's just a person that never gives up, and she's faced a lot of hard times. She's faced a lot of difficult things in her path, and being a businesswoman has been really hard for her in a kind of a man's world. But she's never let that stop her. She's really never let anything stop her. And I think the faithfulness that she's had in giving credit to the Lord and giving back in the ways that she does has really blossomed into what she has now and what she is now. But always, 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 always at the end of the day, she'll always remind us like, hey, Raquel, you know I love you unconditionally. And it doesn't matter what you do or what you have or how you give, but I will always love you. And that's just so beautiful. She would give everything she has away if it would help one of us. And that's just the heart she has.
Great job. You got me crying.
I'm not usually a crier. But yeah, family is big.
I'm so impressed that she has been able to do both successfully, that she's been a successful businesswoman and her family loves her. Like she's still figured that out, that she can do both.
Yeah.
Anything come to mind for you on that, about like anything like that she's taught you about like balance or life priorities?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I was born and raised in Michigan, which is on the other side of the nation from here. And she's always lived in New Mexico, but I've never felt like she was absent from my life. I've never felt like she's missed a beat. She would come to every dance recital, to piano recitals. She made sure that we knew that we were important to her, even though we live thousands of miles away my entire life. And I love that. That's always meant so much to me.
Wow. I feel like this is a TED Talk on how to live a successful life, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm seeing like overlaps. One word that stuck out, and I can't remember, it might have been your brother who had mentioned it. How have you seen her faith impact her, like the way she lives her life?
She's really big on what is the right thing to do. Because there's a lot of pressure in the business world, in the world in general, to just succeed as far as having profit. But what matters more to her is what is the right thing to do. I don't care what maybe the world is telling me is the more advantageous thing to do, but what is my Lord telling me is the right thing to do, and how can I use what I have to help the people that are around me, help my community, to support my employees, my family, all of that. That's always the question at the forefront of her mind, is what is the right thing to do? And that's what she does at the end of the day.
So great. Anything I'm missing? Anything you'd like to add? Any message to her, or anything else on your mind?
No. Nanny knows this already, but Nanny, you know I love you, whether you were a pauper and had nothing, or whether you have all the things that you have. And that's what the message that I always want her to know, because she's really drilled that into us so well, that she loves us without fail, then that we love her without fail. Because there are a lot of people that only see her as a stepping stone, or as something that can get them an ends to a means. But Nanny, we love you no matter what. And we always will.
I am Dave Lehman. My wife is Angie, who Angie is, or Aunt June, or Aunt Wanda is Angie's aunt. So Wanda's older brother, Jim, is my father-in-law. So yeah, I've been married to Angie for 31 years now. So I've met Aunt Wanda maybe a year or so before that.
Wonderful. Okay, how would you describe her to a stranger who'd never met her?
Oh, I don't think a stranger would feel like a stranger for very long. You can tell relationships matter to her. People matter to her. She's a great listener, always interested in you. And I would just say she brings joy. Every single time I've talked to Wanda, I leave feeling a little bit happier. She just knows how to make every situation a little bit better. She's always smiling, always happy. yeah, I would describe her just as a person of joy.
So beautiful. Any like life lessons or ways that she has kind of influenced you?
Yeah, actually, I've gotten into some, I'm from St. Louis, and she obviously is not local, but I've gotten into a few deeper conversations with her about failures, honestly, and that, obviously she's successful, but she's earned every dollar that she makes, and she had a lot of risk, and there was times that things didn't go well, and she overcomes them, and I think that's a life lesson to me, that just because you fail, that's temporary, and you can overcome that with effort and prayer, and she, kind of taught me I would describe her as being fairly relentless, which to me is a great word to describe her, of overcoming and winning, and I think super highly of her.
A few minutes ago, we realized that meeting all of Wanda's closest friends and family is like, it's like a TED Talk to like how to live life successfully. Yeah. What do you love or appreciate just about how she has lived her life?
I love how important family is to her, and loyalty to family. I really admire that. Relationships are important to me, so I think that I see that in her, and she's always at the center of making things better, and I know I kind of said that earlier, but it's hard for me not to think of Aunt Wanda with bringing the word joy, and I think that's just a huge compliment, even when, I was shocked to learn there were times in her life that things weren't always so great, and that you wouldn't have known it at the time, she's just able to take things in stride, and I think that she, always, obviously, her and Bob went through a lot, but they always had each other, they always had their family, and everything else was just extra. So even through difficult times work-wise or business-wise or some of those decisions, she always had her family, always had her relationships, and always brings joy to every moment that I've been around her with anyway. So, yeah. So, man, happy birthday, Wanda. Man, thank you for your witness to our family and just your loyalty to Jim and Wilma, and man, super glad we could make it. Thanks for inviting us, and happy birthday.
Look at me.
Are you gonna ask me questions or me ask you questions?
We'll start with me asking you questions, and then you can ask me questions.
Okay.
Sound fair?
Yeah.
All right. My first question is, what is your name?
Jacob.
Jacob, very nice. And how do you know Miss Wanda? Are you related to her?
Who's Miss Wanda?
Exactly.
Can you say Miss Nanny?
Nanny, Miss Nanny. Let's talk about Miss Nanny.
Just call her Nanny.
Just Nanny. All right, that is a deal. All right, what do you love about Nanny?
I like that Nanny is so funny.
Oh, what makes her funny? What does she do?
He goes,
Does she laugh a lot?
yeah.
Oh, fun. What do you do when you're with Nanny?
I like to snuggle Nanny and give her hugs.
Oh, that sounds like a wonderful time. What is it that Nanny does that she's really good at?
She's really good at making sure my birthday's happy.
Oh, like what does she do?
Like get me a cake and get me presents.
Oh, I love those things too. What's your favorite kind of cake?
Birthday cake.
What would you want people to know about Nanny?
That she's special and kind.
Oh, how do you know she's kind?
Because I'm related.
That makes sense. How do you know she's special? What makes her special?
that she's funny and she likes to snuggle me.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Do you hope to be like Nanny one day?
Yeah.
Are you excited for her party?
Yeah.
What's going to happen at her party?
They're gonna have cake.
Like birthday cake?
Maybe. And they might give Nanny presents.
Whoa, that would be a bonus. That's a great idea. Okay, I've got a good question for you.
What is it?
So, if Peter had never met Nanny before.
Who's Peter?
Oh, sorry, that's Peter. If he had never met Nanny, how would you describe Nanny?
As a nice young lady.
Oh, a nice young lady. I heard she's celebrating 80 years.
Yeah, that's kind of young.
Such a good job. Any follow-up questions?
What's the biggest memory you have of Nanny?
Biggest memory?
Her having Christmas with us. About 2.5 years ago.
Wow, what happened at Christmas?
I got a bunch of presents.
I like it.
And cookies. And milk. Cookies and milk.
Yum. Nanny sounds like she's the best.
She is the best.
My name is Judah Slager. I am 10 years old, going into 5th grade this year. I'm Wanda Bowman's oldest great-grandson. And,
Great job. You're
Yeah.
nailing it. So I've asked some of the adults this one question. If you were to describe Wanda or Nanny to a stranger, how would you describe her? What is she like?
kind, nice, like, she'll, like,
What makes her nice?
okay, her, like, wantingness to share the stuff that she has, share her home, her money, yeah, like, that sort of stuff.
Is she nice to people even that she doesn't know?
Well, it depends. When you meet Nanny, it kind of depends on the entrance that you make to her. Like, if you make a sort of sloppy-ish entrance, it might be like the starting, just getting to know her might be a little bit rough. But if you're like a bit like nicer, kinder, you and Nanny will probably hit off.
Does she have a lot of friends?
Yeah, like tons, and tons. Like, like 400-ish.
That's a lot of friends.
Yeah, I know, like tons.
Do you want to be like her as you get older?
There are definitely some, like, parts of her life that would be great that I would love to be, like, to have. But,
Like what?
like, I'd love to be as kind as her, as nice as her, as generous as her. But then sometimes just having tons and tons of friends can just, in my opinion, can get kind of overwhelming in that sort of way.
Yeah, she balances a lot.
Yeah, she's definitely the queen of multitasking.
So good.
Yeah, I'm sure she probably has a lot that she balances and a ton to do and that sort of thing. Yeah, like between running her store, the Ashley Home Store place, between running that, taking care of her dogs, taking care of the cat, trying to make sure all of her 400 friends are kept, that she like keeps in touch with them and doesn't float away from them is probably really hard.
It would be really hard.
Yeah, it would, like super hard.
What does she do well? What is she good at?
She's good at like managing stuff, multi-managing, planning, getting stuff done, and like making sure everybody stays in line and keeps friendly.
Nice. You're doing an excellent job. I just have a few more questions, I think. Is there an example of a time where she has helped you or inspired you to be better?
Well,
Kind of a big question.
she's definitely helped me in my life with some stuff. I do not remember this stuff because, well, 10 years is a long time to live.
I agree. You are so funny. Like, you really have a great sense of humor, and you're doing an excellent job. Is there anything else I haven't asked?
Do you have a particular special memory with Nanny?
There was this one, when I was 5 for my 5th birthday, I went to Disneyland with Nanny and my second cousin Harper, and then Nani. And was Abu there? And then my grandfather Abu. So we went to Disney World and had a blast. Yeah, that was one of them. There was another one when I was way back. I was like 2 or 3. I just remember being in the pool with my other second cousin Preston a while back with Nanny. It was a long time ago, but yeah.
Neat. So does everyone get to go to Disneyland when they turn 5?
No, it's just like a special, cause like every person there's like a different place. I went to Disneyland, my brother Jacob went to Holiday World, my sister, we don't know where she's going, she's gonna turn 5 this year. So we don't know where she's going, but
Fun.
yeah. So.
Fun will be had. So
then,
great.
yeah.
Is there anything you would like to say about Nanny, or anything that you'd want people to know about her that I haven't asked you?
When you're a friend to Nanny, she will like try to protect you in your decisions. She won't be that kind of person who's trying to like make your decisions for you, yet she's not going to be like completely just okay with everything. She'll try to like, she'll give you recommendations, but she won't force you to do stuff, but she won't just say nothing at all.
That's really helpful. If I wanted to be Nanny's friend, do you have any advice to how to be a good friend back to her?
Just try to be nice, kind, and just try to like, I don't know, just try not to like drift, try to stay consistent with her. Try to like keep as her friend and like text her once a day or something like that.
How do you make sure that you're a good family member? Like, what do you do?
Well, I keep in touch with Nanny, like, not that often because, well, I don't have my own phone and yet I'm only 10, so, and my allowance doesn't go that far. So, yeah, so I keep in touch with her, I normally know what's going on. Like, I'm not completely distant or cut off, but I'm not just super close. I'm in like that nice center spot.
Got to get you a cell phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. You did a great job. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, not really.
You nailed it.
Happy birthday.
Oh yeah, do you have a birthday message or any message for Nanny specifically?
No, not really. No, I don't really have a specific birthday message for her except for, happy birthday.
I love it. Great job. Great job, all done.
I'm Angie Lehman and Aunt Wanda. She's my aunt, my dad's sister.
So beautiful. If you were to describe her to a stranger who'd never met her, how would you describe Aunt Wanda?
I would say she is very generous.
And how have you seen her live that out?
Oh, I've seen or heard more because we live a distance apart, but just of the acts of kindness she's done to serve people in the community, strangers, just being a very giving person for her lifetime.
And it's 80 years
Yes.
of
80 years of generosity, yeah.
Wow. Are there any like life lessons or things that have impacted you and how you live your life?
I mean, again, I would say just the being generous, showing kindness to strangers, and sharing her own life gifts to help others have a blessed life.
Yeah. How has she impacted, do you all have kids?
We do.
Okay.
Yeah.
How has she been as a grandmother? How have you seen her in that role?
Well, she would be their great aunt, and again, our distance. That's okay. Yeah, they haven't really known Aunt Wanda.
What do you love most about her?
Well, I'm going to keep harping on the generosity thing, but it's been a consistent thing with her, and I think that's a remarkable thing for people to just give, and help others. I mean, people that you don't know. I think that's a special thing when you can just be so giving.
Such a beautiful answer. You're giving me a bunch of great stuff to work with. Is there anything I'm missing? Is there any other aspect about her that you'd like to talk about or anything?
I mean, she's just always easy, and she's just, it's a simple thing to get back together with a family that you haven't seen in a long time. It's just always an easy reconnection.
Yes. Was your husband, did we interview him a few minutes ago? Okay.
Yeah.
He had said something about like she makes everything better.
Yeah,
Would you agree with that, or what do you see?
Yeah. She wants the best for wherever she's going and whatever she's involved in, and again, the best for others.
Yeah, so beautiful.
Yeah.
Peter, any questions? Oh yeah, do you have any message for her?
Well, of course I would say happy birthday, Aunt Wanda, and here's to another 80 years of blessing more lives.
And to start off, do you mind introducing yourself and your relationship to Wanda?
Yeah, my name is Daniel Rubio. I'm the first grandson and the oldest of Kathleen's 7 children.
Wonderful job. If you were to describe Wanda to a stranger, how would you describe her?
Vivacious. She's sort of energetic. She has a lot to do. She has a lot to offer. And she's enthusiastic in doing and offering them.
What are some things as far as she has a lot to offer? Like what is she good at?
She's really good at convincing people to do things. It's a kind of very nice general purpose skill. So if she needs to get some furniture moved, she's good at convincing people to do that. If she's trying to help somebody who's gone through some kind of misfortune, she's really good at getting people to do that. If she's just putting together a project, she's really good at people enthusiastically doing that.
You're really good at answering questions. It's easier. Yeah, you're doing a great job. Is there any way that she has inspired or impacted your life?
Yeah, I find her giving spirit, her generosity, really inspirational. A lot of people who have had the kind of success that she has have a talent for keeping it to themselves, and she has the opposite talent.
Side note, grew up in this area? Which part of the country?
So I was born in Albuquerque. I grew up in Michigan. The last 10 years I've been living in New Jersey.
Nice. Why was it important for you to be sure and be here for this event to celebrate 80?
Well, she's been such a good grandmother, such a good person over the years that this is the celebration of her retirement, celebration of her 80th birthday. She's kind of moving into the golden phase of her life. So yeah, I was definitely going to be here for that.
I love that. Any final thoughts of what you would want to tell people about Wanda or what she means either to you or community or your family? Anything come to your mind?
Yeah, I'll say she's a good example of somebody who's lived a good life. That's fairly rare, and that's something for a community to treasure.
Maybe just a birthday message or wishes,
Would you like to give any message to her specifically, any well wishes or anything on your mind?
Yeah, I say, happy 80th, Nanny. Enjoy your retirement. You've more than earned it.
My name is Dolores Rubio, and Wanda and I are co-mothers, which means co-mothers. I'm the mother of my son Ruben, and she's the mother of her daughter Kathleen, who are married to each other. So in Spanish, a comadre are their co-mothers because co-mothers come together in a marriage, and they're mothers of both the bride and the groom.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. And I love how much I'm learning in these interviews, including that. So great. I've asked everyone if you could describe Wanda to a stranger who had never met her, how would you describe her?
Well, I've known Wanda, of course, since Ruben and Kathleen got married. I would say that she is, she kind of takes responsibility for things easily. She enjoys people, and she is energetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you all have been co-mothers, what have you noticed about her and her mothering and grandmothering?
Well, I know she loves the children. We both do. We love the children and the grandchildren and the great-grandchildren.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think she does well?
She has I think the heart to reach out to each one individually and doesn't forget any of them. Yeah. And so that's pretty admirable in today's age, you know. Usually you have a favorite or something, you know, and it's kind of nice to see somebody that treats everybody the same.
That would be really difficult.
Yes. Well, as the family grows, you know, because there's more and more bodies, so.
Yeah, beautiful, great job. What else? Is there anything about the way she lives her life that has inspired you or motivated you in any way?
Well, I can do that by giving you an example.
Please.
During the COVID, you know, there was very little traffic, but still people were not traveling very far, you know, because everybody was masked. And our youngest granddaughter was graduating from high school, and then we just thought it would be terrible for her to graduate and not have some kind of a party or a reception or something. So she called me one night and said, Dolores, I'm going to drive my what do you call it?
Like an RV? Or?
RV. I'm going to drive it and go to the graduation. You want to come? And I said, yeah, I think so. I said, but let me pray about it, and I'll let you know. So the next morning I called her. I says, we're on. And so she picked me up, and we drove. She drove all the way, 2 days of travel, and then all the way back. And so we had a delightful time. I really enjoyed it.
What did that teach you just about how to live life?
Well, not only that, is that she was not afraid to go. You know, she was not afraid. She's very comfortable behind an RV or a truck or whatever, you know, delivering stuff, you know. She just tackles it.
Is there anything she can't do?
I think once she puts her mind to it, probably not. I'm not sure. I don't know her that well, but I do believe that she tries. I mean, if she can't do it, she's going to try to do it.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
Anything else I'm missing that you'd want people to know about Wanda, her life, her legacy?
I'm just real happy to be here to help her celebrate her 80th birthday. I think you know, it's something to live 80 years. I mean, there's a lot of background, and so I'm happy that my son was able to pick me up and we were able to come and share in the celebration.
Beautiful. So you're 85, she's 80.
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
So do you have any lessons for her as she enters this decade?
Just don't take everything so serious. This is a wonderful life, and God is good. And we can't always walk around just living a serious life, you know, where we're afraid or cautious about everything. So one of my little grandsons said, you never give in, so don't give up and don't give in. And that's my advice to Wanda.
I love it. So great, thank you.
You're very welcome, thank you.
Whenever you are ready, do you mind looking in this camera right here?
Okay.
And introducing yourself and telling me your relationship to Wanda.
Okay. So I am Dr. Ruben Rubio, and I am a professor at Indiana Wesleyan University in Indiana. And I am Wanda's first son-in-law and only son-in-law. And I've known her for about 38 years, ever since I started dating her daughter, her and Robert's daughter, Kathleen. So I've gotten to know her pretty well, I think, over the years.
Wonderful. So as you heard, I've been asking everyone, if you were to describe her to a stranger, what would you say about her? How would you describe her?
You know, she is a person that when she wants to do something, she figures out a way to get it done. And the thing is, she doesn't do it in an obnoxious way. You know, some people, they want to get their own way and they are hell-bent on doing it and they'll do it. And it doesn't matter, you know, what hurt feelings or other wreckage might be in the trail. She's not like that. I mean, she will try to figure out a way to do something, but she'll be inclusive of people, she'll be thoughtful of people's feelings, and she'll still manage to get it done. But she'll also make sure that she's brought some people along with her to do it too, or at least given them the opportunity to do that. And I think, I feel like I appreciate that and others appreciate that too.
Beautiful answer. I'm just going to readjust this shot. Looks so good. Is there anything about the way she's lived her life that you especially admire or has inspired you in any way?
Well, I think she's talked about the fact that she came from very humble beginnings, not just economically, but just in the kind of the social hierarchy of the small town in Illinois that she was born in and grew up in. And she's never forgotten that. I think she always has an eye out for people that may be on the margins or maybe are downtrodden or overlooked, and she tries to make sure that they're in as well. You know, you can only do so much for so many people, but she's not afraid to kind of go to people that are the kind of people others wouldn't necessarily go to, and just befriend them, make them feel welcome, and invite them to participate in something.
Such a beautiful answer. Have you seen her successfully balance this incredible work ethic, but also this devotion to family and a big family? Mm-hmm. Do you think she's found a way, or that she does well balancing both?
Yeah, she does that. I think others would say that she doesn't play favorites, and she really doesn't. I think she's really, in fact, my wife, based on that, I think my wife kind of came to me before we even had kids and said we had to make sure that we were like that we didn't play favorites. And I think she's definitely like that. So in balancing work, I mean, she definitely pays a lot of attention to work, but I know at times when we've come to visit and she's taken time off from work, say, okay, I'm not going to do that right now. She may still, you know, if we're getting up at 10 in the morning, maybe she goes to work before that. But at 10 in the morning, she's back and she's hanging out with us when we're here to visit. So she pays a lot of attention to you when you want it, and she manages to make work fit in around the edge. And of course, when no one's here, she does her work and pays good attention to it and does a great job with it.
So great. We've interviewed a lot of your family members today, so I'm trying to get everything straight. You all have grandkids?
Yes.
Those are the youngest that we've talked to?
Yes, we have 5.
Oh, that's so great. What have you seen about how she treats your grandkids? They just seem to think she's like the most fun. And she's 80, yeah. So I'm trying to understand like how that happens.
Well, you know, for our kids, for her grandkids, growing up, they called her Nana. That was kind of the name that she decided she wanted to have. And since our oldest was the first grandchild, that we just got him in the habit of calling her that. And so as she's had great grandkids, she just added great Nana to that. And she just kind of keeps on going. So I think the name is helpful because it gives everybody a focal point to say this is the same person. You know, in fact, in some ways, at least my wife a lot of times refers to as Nana or Nanny. I'm sorry, did I say Nana? Let me start that whole answer.
Okay, great.
Again.
Let me ask you, and I don't even know what my question is. I kind of just
let me just start that whole answer again.
Go ahead if you're
ready. She picked the name Nanny for herself back when we had our first kid, which was the first grandchild, and so she was Nanny after that, and so all of our kids called her Nanny, and they all knew who she was. And then when she became a great grandmother, she just put great in front of that and became Great Nanny, and that's how the kids all know her. So she's kind of the name is kind of a focal point to kind of unite the grandchildren and the great grandchildren in the same person, and that's very familiar to them. So in fact, my wife will often refer to as Nanny when we're around, even though it's her mom, but she just calls her nanny because that's kind of the role she's been in for a long time now.
So beautiful. That's so great. If you were to pick a word or a phrase that to associate with her, is there anything that sticks out to you? Like how you would describe her?
I would call her a determined nanny because I think she'd never want to lose the nanny part or the great nanny part. But I think determined certainly is a good other adjective to put in there because she's determined, and like I said, she's not going to run anybody over, but she wants to make sure that what she wants to do something, she'll do it. She wants to go visit all 7 continents, she'll figure out a way to do it, and she has. So just stuff like that. She wants to be successful at her business and maybe be a bit of an example to other women in the community. She does it.
Beautiful. Is there anything I've missed that you'd like to share that I haven't asked you about?
I'd say the last thing I'd add is that she's always treated me well. You know, bringing this Mexican American kid home was probably not something that she had thought about. You know, that's just, you know, when you think about who your daughter's going to marry, you probably may have an idea, you know, based on who they hang around with and who's around and what's going on, you know, around town. And probably when I entered the picture, I probably was not in those thoughts. But I think she has treated me exceptionally well over the years. She's always been very welcoming, very accepting of me, and she's always made me feel part of the family, and I've always appreciated that.
So beautiful. Peter?
The unique perspective with the family dynamics, is there anything that, like, with raising your own kids and grandkids, like any like nuggets that you've kind of captured that maybe you've seen, like, oh, that's where it's come from, seeing that in your wife, and then, all right, we need to make sure this gets passed on or something.
Yeah. I think we're both very much wanting our kids to know where they came from, their roots. So, and to celebrate both of them together. It's not more important that they get some of their identity through me, nor that they get it through Kathleen. They get it through both. So we celebrate when we find out things about the Bowman or Atwood families. We celebrate that. When we find out things about the Rubio and Sanchez families, we celebrate that. So I think that's probably the lesson we've learned, is that what has gone before and who has gone before, regardless of which side of the family they've come from, is really important. It's part of what makes us who we are and what makes our kids who they are, and something we should celebrate. So I think we do that.
My name is Angie Dickinson. I am Kathleen Rubio's daughter, so I'm Wanda's granddaughter.
Wonderful. If you were to describe her to a stranger who'd never met her, what would you say?
Nanny is someone that you have to meet. She is funny, she's bright, she's energetic, she's someone that will make you feel comfortable immediately. She's also someone who could sell a hen her own eggs, so she is a person that's worth experiencing, absolutely.
So funny. I'm going to wait for the dinging to start. Is it the doorbell or?
It's on the hour.
Oh, it's on the hour.
Yeah.
It's amazing that we can figure out how long we've been here just by the chimes. We're like, what day is it?
10 o'clock in the back. Oh no.
Oh my goodness. Wait just a moment. That was a great beginning though. Excellent job.
She really is though. I mean, she's someone where I'm like, I tell stories about her because I'm like, you guys, my grandmother is amazing.
Oh, I love it. Do you have a favorite story that you...
Oh man, a favorite story.
Or a favorite example of her being...
So we did one time, we were doing actually a little school film project for one of my little sisters, but Mom and Nanny had to do like improv dialogue back and forth. And so they were trying to be these like little old Southern ladies, and both of them had these funny little shawls that they'd gotten, and they were just doing their little like front porch talk. And my mom goes, "You don't say," and Nanny's like, "I do say." And it just killed me. We're like, what? Nobody talks like that, but also it's like, there's so much character in that. So it was perfect for the project they were working on. And we still to this day, anytime someone's like, "You don't say," we're all like, "I do say."
So good. Are there any life lessons that she has taught you that's really stuck?
I feel like there's a lot of things. So I play piano, and that's something that she taught to my mom and my mom taught to me. So that's something that's really special to me, is that kind of love of music, which has stemmed into a love of dance. She's also been always really encouraging of my sewing. She was the one who bought me my first sewing machine. And anytime I say something like, oh man, this hand stitching is hard, she's like, do you need a serger? Let me get you a serger. So that encouragement of handicraft was really wonderful. But probably my biggest thing was not to be afraid to travel. Me personally by nature tend to be pretty shy and timid, but she's someone that's bold and adventurous, and she always took us on bold adventures, which gave me a big taste for that. So it made it so that I couldn't stop. Even as an adult, when I wanted to go and do something, I would, because I'm like, you know what, Nanny would take me, or she would do it this way, and she wouldn't be afraid to just go and live and go places. So I've traveled to over 30 countries, and I directly say that's because Nanny encouraged travel and that love of travel, even for someone who is afraid of airplanes, afraid of going places, afraid of all of those things, because Nanny could do it, and she took me when I was young. It made me want to keep doing it.
Do you think she's fearless?
Absolutely, yeah. No, there are things I think she's afraid of, so maybe it's better to say she's courageous than fearless, because I think she stands up to her fears and she doesn't let them boss her around, which again is something that I try and hold in the back of my mind, is that fear doesn't control your life and doesn't control your actions, and that courage is really what marks her, and I try to let that mark me as well.
Beautiful. It seems like she is like a magnet even within family, like everyone really wanted to be here, to celebrate her. What is it about her that makes her like that magnet, that makes everybody want to just like pour back into her?
It's kind of multifold, because she's someone that is like a life of the party. Like if Nanny arrives, even if it's just the two of you, a party has happened. Like it's going to be an event and it's going to be really fun and memorable. But it's also that she's really generous and kind, and she showed up for all of us in our lives, throughout our lives, and supported the things that we loved. And so when Nanny says, hey, I'm having a party, you just don't say no, because you're like, you know what, I would be really ungrateful if I didn't give back to this woman who's given to me my entire life.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. It's got chills on my legs. Yeah, because it seems like she, and I love that I'm new to her as a person, so learning about her has just been delightful.
Yeah, good.
But just how she just pours into people.
She does.
Is that just like a common theme of her entire life?
I think it is. And she pours into people that she knows. She pours into strangers. She pours into anyone. Like if she's poured into her community her whole life, and not just her New Mexico community, but back when she lived in the Midwest, and like she's left communities of people that love her, because she always is insanely generous. And no matter how much she's had in her life, like there have been times she tells stories about like when she had to dig pennies out of the cushions to get $1 to fill up the car with gas, but she was still generous, and people still remember that. So for me, you know, I think of music and sewing and travel, but for my other siblings, they think of whatever their hobbies were, or whatever their schooling, or whatever they wanted to do. Nanny was always there to support it. And if you need someone to believe in you, she's a phone call away. So you just, hey Nan, I need encouragement, or I'm not sure if I can do this, and she will always be there to support you and go, hey, you can do this, like let's try it, and if you need help, I'll be there, I'm coming, like let me hop on the next plane, I'm on my way. Like she's always been that way. And again, she adopted people into our family, so she had a longtime employee, Virginia, that she adopted into our family and was like a second grandmother to us, like, and they just brought her in because she'd had a lot of tragic life events. She needed friends, and Nanny was like, hey, you're part of my family now.
Wow.
Yeah.
What an incredible woman.
Absolutely. Yeah, she is.
I feel
That's what I mean, like you would want to meet her even if she wasn't your grandmother. You'd want to know her.
I feel like we could talk for hours, but is there anything I'm missing, anything you'd like to share about her life, her legacy, anything she's taught you, or what she means to you?
It's a little hard to summarize exactly what she means to me, but she's someone that is part of my bones. She's part of my travels has been to go to Ireland, and her family has got Irish heritage in it, and so that was something that I didn't expect when I got to Ireland. I felt this immediate sense of I've just brought something inside of me home, and part of that is absolutely Nanny, and that was her family and that connection. So the person that she is folded into the making of me, so much so that it's almost impossible to say exactly who she is or what she is to me. But the only thing I can say is that she's beyond precious. She is a treasure of great magnitude that is absolutely irreplaceable, and that I love with every part of me.
So beautiful. That was so lovely. All right, Jim, do you mind introducing yourselves and your relationship to Wanda?
I'm Jim Atwood. I'm Wanda Bowman's brother, her only brother. There was 4 children in our family. Wanda is youngest, and we always, my 2 older sisters and myself, always thought that she was special, and that she also got all the privileges, and we had to make up for all the absence. And she'll have a different story. She'll tell you that's not the case, but she'll actually tell you that no, because I was an only boy, I got all the excuses and got all the privileges. I never thought I did, but maybe I did. Wanda was 2 years younger than me. I was born in 1940, and she's born in 1942. And so for the first few years growing up, we shared the same bedroom. She was in the baby bed, and I was in a little, I guess you'd call it a day bed. We got enough older, Mom and Dad decided, well, they're not getting along very well, and they don't need to be in the same room anyway. So, and in the meantime, our 2 older sisters had finished high school, and so it was making it possible for her to have her own room. And that worked out very well for both of us. She would agree, I'm pretty sure, that she did not need Big Brother watching over her. One of the things that...
How long is this going to be here?
I won't make it too long. One of the things that she was very competitive, and still is. And if I would bring a friend home, a boy friend, and she thought maybe there was somewhat of a possible interest there, she'd try to latch on to him. And that's actually how she ended up with Bob Bowman.
So you did her a favor.
Yeah, I thought I did. I didn't realize it at the time. One of the things that really impresses me with Wanda and Bob both, was their business of sharing for the less fortunate here in the community and excuse me, well, wherever. They really did a lot to help people, and they didn't do it to get any kind of glory or pat on the back. They just knew that was the thing to do.
Yeah, beautifully said. I'm going to give you a break, and I'm going to talk to you now. Is that okay?
Sure.
So
there's not much left to say, is there?
I love that. So I'm going to ask you a similar question. If someone asked you to describe Wanda to a stranger, how would you describe her?
She is a most energetic, enthusiastic, loving person I know. Yeah. Very giving. Always concerned about you. Always shows her concern about us. That's what I would say. That's how I would describe Wanda. Yeah. I wish I had the energy that she has.
I guess the issue with boyfriends, she wasn't a boy crazy girl, don't misunderstand me, but if I'd bring somebody home like Bob, and she decided she thought that's somebody she might be interested in, she would muscle in, and I'm out of the picture, you know. But,
I love it.
Anyway, she made some good choices. We all have made some dumb choices, but no, she was a good sister.
So I am Joanne Davidson. This is my husband, Tony Davidson, and I'm Wanda Bowman's niece.
Fantastic. If you were to describe Wanda to a stranger, how would you describe her?
Oh my gosh, my Aunt Wanda is probably the most amazing woman that I have ever had the privilege of knowing. She is smart, she's intelligent, she's ferocious, and she will give you the shirt off of her back, but don't take advantage of her either. She's just an amazing woman.
Yeah, I like the word ferocious.
She is. Yeah. She is ferocious, and I have seen her in action. I don't know that she's noticed that I've seen her in action, but there have been a time or two, and I'm like, whoa, you don't mess with that one.
That's so great. Tony, 10 years in, Is there anything that you admire about how she lives her life or what she means to your wife?
It's a very difficult question to answer, but Wanda has obviously influenced Joanne over the years in different ways. So it makes sense that it has been that hard of an influence on her life. As to call her ferocious, for example, is an understatement. Being in business myself and doing and selling and doing the different things that I've done over my life, it only makes sense that Wanda is ferocious because she's had to be ferocious to be the woman she is.
To be as successful as she has been.
Very successful as she is, yes.
You don't mess with an old white-haired woman, and she will tell you that.
So great. Any life lessons or anything about how she lives her life that's influenced you?
She is a very, very, very hard worker, and
too hard.
Yeah, sometimes we think she should not be working at this age. We're both retired. We would like for her to be retired, but I don't. But you know, she's driven that way, and she gets that, I believe, from my grandfather. She's a lot like my grandfather was, and he was a hard worker, and he would never quit. And she's that kind of person. She doesn't quit. I worry about her when the business is gone as to what she's going to do and how she's going to stay busy.
Yeah.
Because she needs that. That's what drives her.
Any retirement advice?
Yes, take it easy. Take it easy. Travel more. Travel more. She does travel quite a bit. She's been, I believe, on all of the continents, and she has done and seen some amazing things. But yeah, relax, travel more, and have fun.
Family.
And enjoy your family.
Because we traveled to see our family. We're, in fact, in just a few weeks, we're going to, next week we're going to travel to Wyoming to see family. And then in October.
And this is a trip to see family. I mean,
and this is, so, and then in October we're going to see family another direction, to the south, so family.
Right.
Yeah, so beautiful. Anything I'm missing? Anything you all would like to add that I haven't asked you about?
No. I have to share a
Please,
story. So I have to share a story. So
here we go.
Yeah. No.
I don't know the story.
No, I mean, she will tell you. So I was supposed to be the flower girl in Wanda's wedding when she got married. I was 3, and I was not walking down that aisle. Was having absolutely nothing to do with it. So they ripped the dress off of me, put it on my cousin Cindy, and she became the little flower girl. But I guess I was always that kind of child. But she has always had an influence on me with what she has done, the way she has been, her life. My Uncle Bob I absolutely adored. Lost him way too soon. Used to call me his monkey when I was a little girl. But when I was about 13 or 14, I was a very difficult child, and she was patient with me. When I would go, there's a long story behind my life. My mother passed at a very young age. So all I had of my mother's people is my Aunt Wanda, my Uncle Jim, and my Aunt June.
Aunt June.
And I believe I'm actually a lot like my Aunt Wanda. And I'm just sorry that I didn't have more years to spend with her. And I look forward to spending a lot more years with her now.
Well, she's snuck in and come visit us a couple times.
Yeah,
it was like, what? I'm coming over. Okay.
She is a fabulous woman. I love her to death. And I can't imagine not having her in my life.
Yeah.
She just is amazing. Happy birthday. We love you.
Happy birthday.
Would you mind introducing yourself and telling me your relationship to Wanda?
Sure. My name is Curtis Bowman, and I am Wanda Bowman's son. I sit in the middle between Kathleen as the older sister and my brother Paul, who's the younger.
How would you describe her to a stranger who'd never met her?
Oh my goodness. So she's just full of energy. For somebody who's 80 years old, she has more energy than people who are 40. And she always wants to do something. She has a heart of gold. She wants to make sure other people get stuff. And it comes from when she was growing up, she grew up rather poor. And it was a blessing, but it also gave her a lot of drive. And when you watch her, you'll see that come out on almost everything she does.
God, I'm always surprised at how much she continues to give, like, to the community. Did that, I don't know, inspire you or influence you at all?
Oh, absolutely did. You know, when you get to see that as a child, you really try and exude that as an adult. And so, you know, I try to show it to my kids, and my family tries to be as helpful as she was. Now, she's always better than we do, but it's just one of those things where you're really proud of the stuff she does, and you try and emulate that in what you do. You want to make sure your kids see it as well. And as you go through your different periods of life, you can do more or less depending on how things are going in your family. But yeah, that's definitely an example that she sets for her own family, and she tries to set it for the community.
We heard the story about you getting hit by a car when you were little. What in the world? How old were you?
I was 5.
Do you have any memory of it?
I do, yeah. It sounds crazy, but you know those school lights that flash during the week? Well, it turns out they don't flash on the weekends. But as a 5-year-old, you're in a school zone, and so you measure the car's distance and you say, oh, well, I can make it across, and besides that, they'll stop. Well, when they're going 15 miles an hour, it's quite different when they're going 35. And I stepped out in front of a car and got hit. Spent you know, a number of months healing, but fortunately, I came through it relatively unscathed. But you know, I remember my family being around me and just making sure that I was doing well. My sister will tell you that I had a big cap on my head, and it was pretty smelly apparently. And she hated to play with me because I was stinky. But my mom made her go in and, you know, make sure you play with him, and you know, she just wondered why I couldn't take a bath. So you know, those are some of the stories you get as you grow up, and just blessed to be in that kind of an environment.
Yeah. Did that accident like teach you anything, or were there any like long-term like lessons that you got from it?
The big thing I got out of that was perspective, right? When you look at something and you think of it as it was, you realize it's not always like that. And I think that kind of drove me toward my engineering side. And as I've gone through engineering, I've always been on the innovative side of things, because it's where my mind has learned to go, yeah, look where it's not instead of where things are.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
How was your mom as a mom?
She was great. You know, everybody's mom is strict, right? They want good things for you. They want good things for the family. And I remember some of those things of, you know, hey, you got to have the discipline. But she always had great support. And I just always remember feeling like, hey, if I had something I needed help with, she was there. If I had something that I did wrong and didn't know what to do, I could go talk to her. And just through, you know, whether it was school or sports or scouts, I always had her at my back, encouraging me to do more things or better things, or at least try. And if I didn't do well, it was, you did your best. That's not your thing. Try something different.
I love that. What did she teach you about striving for success and whatever that means to you?
Yeah, I got to watch her and my dad run a business. And, you know, I think back to this little itty bitty store they had on Solano when I grew up. Right, we moved here, I was just 5 at the time. And they had this little hole in the wall store, and it sold TVs and organs and pianos. And they really made their money on the service department, because at the time TVs broke down with the tubes and whatnot, and that's where the money was. Well, that wasn't going to make it long term, so they opened up another store. They got a bigger showroom. They got more sales. They moved from televisions into VCRs, cameras. Then they said, hey, the thing that's coming is movies. And so they opened the first movie store in Las Cruces, right? They should have called it Blockbuster. You know, and then they went and they added refrigerators and freezers and washers and dryers, because Las Cruces needed that type of help. And they went from strictly retail, where you had to have money in your pocket, to rentals, where you could buy it a little bit at a time. And what I learned from that was never stay one path. Look at what's in front of you, look where the needs are, move to those needs, and you'll always do the right thing by doing that.
What did you witness as your mom became a grandmother? Did she change?
It's funny to watch your mom become the grandma of your kids in particular. And I got to see her with the grandma of my sister's kids. And it didn't hit me nearly as much as when she had my kids. Because it was oh, you're just wonderful and you can do no wrong and let me just play with you and then hand it back. Which is the joy of a grandparent. 3.5, 4 months ago, I became a grandparent for the first time. And so I am doing the exact same thing. It is so wonderful to be able to do that. And yet you see in her all that same support for her grandkid, just like she had for her own children. She has been a driving force amongst her grandchildren, and she will be for her great-grandchildren too.
Anything on your mind or heart that you want to share about your mom, her legacy, life lessons, anything at all?
The thing that probably nobody else will go through is, I remember coming home from Scouts one night. She was driving me home, and she turned on a green arrow, and the person accidentally ran the other light. And she put her arm out to save me, still had her left hand on the steering wheel, and broke her shoulder bone. And she did that because had to save the kid. I was 14. I was going to be fine. But she always worries about the other person first. Yeah. So that's something that, just makes me love her so much.
My name is Paul Bowman, Paul William Bowman. I'm the third child of Wanda. Curtis is my older brother. Kathleen is my older sister.
How would you describe your mom to someone who's never met her?
My mother is a remarkable individual. She is indeed a force to be reckoned with. She is the strongest person I've ever met. And it would be unfair to say that she's the strongest woman I've ever met, but she's the strongest person I've ever met. When she gets in her mind that she's going to do something, by God, that's what's going to happen. Yeah, she has a great deal of willpower and self-confidence, belief in herself, and there's just nothing that she can't do. That's one of the things that she taught me, is that there's just nothing that you can't do. If you can think it through, why, it can happen. And quite frankly, I think a lot of times she doesn't think it through. She just makes it happen.
She gave us a brief overview of her journey in business.
Yeah.
And she talked a lot about the challenges, and then she said that you joined her, and then it seemed like once that happened, success came.
Unlike my siblings, I am not only her offspring, but I'm also her partner. We made a deal in 2002. My father had a stroke, and she called me up one day. I was living in Albuquerque, selling food and maintenance supply and stuff, and it wasn't our ideal. And she said, either you can come help me run the business, or I'm just going to sell everything and get an RV and travel around. And I knew that that's not what she wanted to do. But my father had had a stroke. I don't know if I mentioned that. He had a stroke, and he just really wasn't, he wasn't with it. He was a very, very strong businessman and a very generous man in his own right. But after he had the stroke, he just couldn't do it. And Wanda was trying to do it all herself. And while, she was staying in business, she saw an opportunity for me. I don't know why she asked me and not the others. I think they had better jobs. But so I took her up on it, and in 2002, I came down, and we had the store on Lohman. It was about 9,000 square feet, and we had maybe, I think, 8 employees. And in that time, I recognized that being the little mom and pop store, while she was making a lot of money because she invented rent to own, which is, I'm sure she told you that story, but yeah, no?
No.
So at some point she was a pioneer in the rent to own. Before there was a Rent-A-Center or Amigo Rents or all those guys, they all rode on her coattails. She said that she was gonna finance these in a rent to own thing. How this even crossed her mind, I don't know, because it was crazy in the 70s. So she tried to borrow some money. After she had that accident that Curtis talked about, she ended up with, I don't know, something like $15,000, and she bought inventory and she started writing leases for them, a rent-to-own thing, which is different than a payments thing. And she worked that, and that's how she ended up getting the money. At one time she had hundreds and hundreds of people making payments to her, and that's how she got the money for the Ashley store. Anyway, I digress. So I realized shortly after showing up that you either had to get big or get out. And at the time, Ashley Furniture had these fantastic catalogs that they would leave with you to purchase furniture. And I started showing these catalogs to customers because there was only 9,000 square feet. So what was the odds that we would have what they wanted? But we didn't. But I'd show them the catalog and they would pick something out, and I'd say, I'll order this for you, and if you like it, you keep it. If you don't like it, I'll just sell it to somebody else. Don't worry about it. And that's when we got involved in Ashley ordering stuff. Shortly thereafter, Ashley wanted to do a kind of a franchise thing, and she and Bob and I drove out to Phoenix to look at another Ashley home store, and that's it. We were sold. We saw what they were doing. We were blown away. And I think one of the most impressive things about Wanda is that when she believes in something, she believes 100%, and there is no holds barred. There is no, she's not afraid of anything, right? So she took out a second mortgage on her house. Her house was on the line for this deal. And I don't think that's the first time she's done that, right? She believed in herself and what she saw so much that she was willing to put it all on the line. Now, me as the junior partner, realizing that my mother's house was on the line here, that's kind of heavy. But we made it work. It was absolutely a successful plan. And so she and I, and Bob to a lesser extent, he was there until he passed away. We worked that business every day for 20 years, and we made a pretty good living out of it. But it was Wanda's sheer will to make it happen every single day. She took on all the hard decisions, and she just has no fear. I was always very conservative. I didn't want to spend a lot of money on inventory. And she would say, let's buy one of everything. No, let's buy two. Because that's the way, she knew she was going to sell it all. She knew that she could always bank on herself. And I got to tell you, in running this business, you know what? We never built projections. There was no, we did this month, we're going to do this that month. She only knew that she had to work as hard as she could, day after day. She always flew by the seat of her pants, and frequently I would get mad at her because she wouldn't know what was going on. But she knew that if she showed up the next day and she worked as hard as she could, that the bills were going to get paid. And the details really didn't matter. I learned a lot from her, more than I think I've learned from anybody else. That you treat people right, you don't cheat, you don't lie, you pay the government what you owe them, and you sleep well at night. because when you get a good night's sleep, you can get up and do it again the next day rather. She taught me that a deal's a deal, and that you don't renege on deals. And even if you haven't made the greatest deal, why, a deal's a deal, right? And furthermore, if somebody makes a deal with you, then by God, they need to pay, right? So we're going to get our money and we're going to get what's due to us. She is a generous person. I think she likes to give. I think that it makes her feel important, and we all want to feel important. But she also gets a great sense of satisfaction when she gives those mattresses away to people that need them. And you know what? I know that we've given mattresses away to people who were just taking advantage of us. But that's the thing, you know? Over the last 20 years, I've seen us get ripped off and taken advantage of. And she knew that that's the tax you pay, that's why we have a saying that it's just another day in the furniture business. You know, you put up with bad customers, you put up with good customers, but at the end of the day, it's just another day in the furniture business. And you just go on doing it. There may not be justice in this world, but we went on doing what we were going to do. I lost my train of thought. What was the question?
It's perfect. It's perfect. Did your kids just walk in? Your daughter? Oh, nice. If your son comes back, I might have them join you. Or do you want to go grab him real quick? Great. Because I want to ask you just about like your mom being a grandma, but since your kids are here, how perfect is that?
Come on over here. So there is one thing I know about my mother, and it is that she loves her kids and will do anything for her kids and her grandkids. I'm 53 years old and she still tells me in this meaningful way, I love you, Paul. There's nothing that I won't do for you, unconditional. So that's pretty admirable that it's unconditional. And she loves her grandkids more than life itself. This is Harper, my daughter, and Preston. Do you have any questions for them?
I have, if you all speak loudly, I can hear you. Is it Nanny?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Nanny. What do you love about Nanny?
She's fun.
She's fun?
She's nice and fun to hang around with.
Nice. And Paul, what was it like seeing your mom become a grandmother? Like, how good of a grandmother is she?
Well, she's awesome. She had lots of practice before my kids showed up. So I was a bit of a late bloomer, got married late, and we had kids late, and so my kids are still young. But she loves them and would do anything to spend time with them and do anything that they want to do. She is just a terrific, terrific grandmother.
Now, anything else you would like us to know about your mom, about your grandmother?
No.
All right, Paul, anything?
I respect and admire that woman more than anybody I've ever met. And whether or not she was my mother, I would say that about her. Her level of success is, well, it's fairly immaterial because she just goes to work and she does her thing every day. She just lives what we call the Wanda show every day, right? And it's not about becoming successful. It was about living her best life. And this is her 80th birthday, and I think, without a doubt, that she has done that.
Hi, I'm Juliana Rubio Slager, and I am Wanda Bowman's first granddaughter.
Oh, how fun is that? And how would you describe her to a stranger?
Oh my goodness, so Wanda, or Nanny as she is called by her grandchildren, she's so energetic, she is so much fun, she gets things done, she is one of the most inspiring people I have ever met, and I would be extremely happy if on my 80th birthday I was exactly like her.
I love that. And are there any like life lessons that she has taught you that's really impacted you?
Yeah, so one cool thing that we share is Nanny is a great entrepreneur. She's an incredible businesswoman. And I actually started a nonprofit organization 10 years ago. And so she's mentored me quite a lot in business and kind of taught me the ropes of how to be a boss, how to work with a board of directors, how to fundraise. So she has been incredibly instrumental for me in my career and teaching me how to do all of that. But to do it in a way that's loving and generous, and to do it in a way that truly looks out for the best of the community.
Do you feel like whenever you succeed at something that she is as happy for you as if it was like her own success?
Oh, absolutely. I think Nanny is one of the kindest people in that sense. She's always happy to see you succeed. And even if you fail, she never lets you sit in it. She kind of gives you a pat on the back and says, okay, well, what are you going to do next? And I love that about her. She's always the person I call, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing that's happening to me in my personal life or with the nonprofit. I just love that she's somebody that I can lean into and really trust with some of the more nuanced situations that I experience as an entrepreneur.
My name is Miranda Rubio, and I am one of Wanda's granddaughters.
Wonderful. How would you describe her to a stranger?
I would describe her as a force of nature. She's the kind of person where once she's got an idea or a dream or a project, she is not going to be stopped. She is incredible in that way. I've met very few people in my life who have that kind of drive and passion to say it doesn't matter what the obstacle is in my way or maybe the person or the situation that I'm coming up against, but I have a dream, I have an idea, and I'm going to see it through to the very end.
Love that. I'm just going to readjust just a little bit. Are there any life lessons that have impacted you?
Yeah, I think the biggest one is to believe in the people who dream, because she herself is a dreamer and she came from a background that's very different from where she is now. And I think along that path, she met a lot of people who didn't believe that she could do what she set out to do. And so for myself, through my life, I've seen that from her. When I was a kid growing up, she was there for every recital, every ballet performance, every nutcracker. And now that I'm a professional, she's still there and she's still supportive. But it was that process of believing in me when I was still dreaming and before I had produced any real product. You know, my best work was not when I was 7 years old. But she was still there and she was saying, you can do this, you've got this, I'm cheering you on. And you get a lot of those people once you've made it who are going to tell you this is great, this is wonderful, we're so amazed by where you've gotten. But to have that person consistently through your whole life cheering you on before you were ever anything exceptional, that's priceless.
Yeah, I'm amazed at her ability to be so successful, like in business and such a hard worker, but still have made the time to pour into her family.
Yes, she is such a genuine human, and I think that's what it comes down to. I have so many memories of her just with people that she'd never met, complete strangers, and she listens so intently on such a human basis, and it doesn't matter if they're someone she's met on a bus or a train or a plane, or if someone she's talking to, a shopkeeper, she's listening to their life story. I think about this little art shop in my hometown that we drove past, and she saw a sign for a sale, and she likes a good bargain, so we dropped in. And it was actually an end of the business sale. They were closing and it was clear out. And she just sat and listened to the shopkeeper tell her story. And I was amazed watching her. And I was like, she's not doing what most of us do where someone's listening and we're nodding along, but in our head, we're completely somewhere else living a daydream. I mean, she's genuinely listening to what this woman has to say and hearing her story. And I think that humanness translates into every part of her life. No matter if you're family or friend or stranger, she'll listen, she's there, and she wants to connect on that deep, just like base level that we all have person to person, heart to heart.
My name is Bryn Bowman, and I am one of Wanda's granddaughters.
Very nice. How would you describe her to a stranger?
I tell people that my grandmother is a superwoman. She wakes up every morning and goes and runs a business and is nice to everyone that she meets, and I look up to her a lot, so I tell people she is a superwoman.
How does she do it? Have you ever wondered or figured that out?
I have always wondered how she does it. I do not know. I have never figured that out, but I'll tell you, when I wake up in the mornings and I feel like I can't do it that day or I don't want to do it that day, I tell myself, if you're a nanny, can get out of bed this morning and go do what she does, you can get up and go do what you need to do.
I love that. Are there any lessons that you've learned from how she lives her life that have impacted you?
She has taught me to be authentic and genuine, to never be afraid of who I am. She's taught me how unconditional love works and how to give back to your community.
Yeah. Tell me about unconditional love. Like what does that look like or feel like?
Yeah, she accepts me for exactly who I am, and it doesn't matter what I do, what choices I make. Even if she isn't the biggest fan of those choices, she is gonna love me no matter what.
I'm Blaine Bowman, and I am a grandson of Wanda Bowman.
Very nice. How would you describe her to a stranger?
Nanny is the most energetic, kind, enthusiastic, and genuine person you'll probably ever meet. She's actively listening to what you're saying. She wants to hear about your life, your stories, lessons you've learned along the way. And she doesn't just listen and say, wow, that's really cool and neat. She relates to you, she talks to you, has stories to come back with, to share and add on and relate. And so that's how I describe Nanny. She's just an awesome all-around person.
Are there any lessons that you have learned from her that have kind of helped you go through life?
Yeah. Nanny has defined and taught me what it means to be a Bowman. Being a Bowman is something that we kind of wear outwardly, and people should know who we are. We've learned things like how to be loyal, how to be a good friend, be a good person, helping those in need, putting others before ourselves, and also discipline and dedication are really important values that we've learned, and we definitely wear those. Those are shown through our actions and our words, and Nanny's been a big influence on that.
A lot of people have used the word like they feel supported. Mm-hmm. Has there been a moment where you knew that she had your back?
Yeah. In college, actually, I got kicked out of the apartment complex that I was living in. And Nanny was one of the people that was involved in that to make sure that ran smoothly. And she didn't have to be there. She didn't have to be both present and financially supportive in that endeavor, but she was there. She didn't complain once. And definitely made me feel like, yeah, this isn't a fun situation, but family's there and Nanny's there.
What have you learned from her as like in the business world? Has that anything that's that helps you in business today?
Yeah, you don't want to work with everybody. Some people are just not worth working with. You obviously want to retain customers and make people happy, and your offerings need to reflect what the community wants. But she's also taught me that some people are just not worth the time. Some people are outside of who you want to work with, the types of people that you want to work with, and that's okay.
Wonderful. Anything on your mind or heart that you'd want people to know about her legacy, anything like that?
So I have a story.
Yay, I love stories.
So I can't remember the exact time frame, but me and cousin Ruben were having dinner with Nanny. And this shows her authenticity for sure. So we were having dinner with Nanny at the Olive Garden off the highway. And on the way out, Las Cruces was getting their first Dick's Sporting Goods. And she was very excited about this and wanted Ruben and I to be excited with her. So on our way out of the Olive Garden, she turns to Ruben and I and says, you know what, after dinner, would you guys like to go over, peek in the windows and look at Dick's? So we obviously would start bust out laughing at that because we heard what she said, we knew what she meant, but the way it came out was not the way she meant it to be. So we're laughing, and just the look of confusion on Nanny's face, why we were laughing, made it even better. She actually didn't realize what she had said and how it was phrased until we got home. And then she said, guys, I don't think I phrased that correctly, and I apologize. So that is a great story about Nanny, and something that definitely shows her character, her innocence, and just how excited she can get.
My name is Saxon Marr. I have known Wanda probably since I was born through my mother.
Nice, nailed it. How would you describe Wanda to a stranger?
definitely I would describe her the same way the employees describe her at Ashley Furniture, and it is the whitest haired lady in the room. And she is just radiating happiness, energy, and positivity no matter what happens.
Will you tell me about the unique opportunity you had to work with her or work for her?
Definitely. So I went in my senior year and we did fall internship program and a spring internship program. And I was really set on wanting to do sports medicine. So I did that for my first semester and I found out that I absolutely hated it. And so I wanted to do something more business related. And so Wanda let me do the opportunity. And so I was pretty much shadowing Mrs. B for about 4 or 5 months and I learned a whole lot, and I definitely some stuff that I was going to be taking into the future, and I was just blessed to have that opportunity to learn from her.
What is she like as a boss?
As a boss, she's pretty much like a grandma. Like, you know, she's cool, but if you get out of line, she'll hit you back into it. But other than that, she's just positive 24/7. It's just one of the nicest people I could never know.
As you look at your future in business, what lessons did she teach you that will make you better in business?
So I think the most important one I got from her is when you are blessed with either wealth or position or status, don't hoard it. Always try to find a way to turn that back and give it out to the people who do not have that or who are not in the position for you. And if you do that, you feel good inside. And it's just you need to use your position to help other people.
What do you think Wanda means to your mom?
I think Wanda Bowman is kind of in the same ways it is to me, is she is an adoptive parent and grandparent. So I try to see myself as her adopted grandson from time to time, and to my mother, I think she is like her role model, is another woman who's been able to step outside of the line that is typically set and pave her own way and be a strong female leader in the community.
Hi, I'm Logan Bowman. I'm Wanda's grandson.
Very nice, that's perfect. Where are you living right now?
Right now, I'm in Norman, Oklahoma, up at the University of Oklahoma studying finance.
Very nice. How would you describe Wanda to a stranger?
Well, the way that I always describe her to my friends is during the winter, she always does like a beds for children who don't have that wow, words.
No, you're good. It's kind of like that luxury or that...
Yes.
Because you would think everybody has a bed, but they don't.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me do that again.
Okay.
How would you describe, or how do you describe Wanda to your friends?
Well, the way that I always describe my grandmother to my friends is that like she is the most kind and giving person, and a great example of that I usually always lead off with is that she gives beds to kids during December that don't have the luxury to have the beds that, I mean, you and I would normally grow up in. So I think that's usually that would get across the point to most of the people that I know, and I just kind of explain like, no, that's how she is every day of every year. Is she's always the kindest, most giving person that she can be, because she knows that she can and that that's the right thing to do.
Does it ever amaze you that she's so giving?
Yes, absolutely, because she gives all the time. I mean, she gives every single day of every single year. She tries to give back to the community, to, I mean, even her family. You know, she's been to all sorts of our different activities that we've done. Whenever I was a kid, she used to fly from Las Cruces to Austin and go see a football game whenever I was in 7th grade, right? And it wasn't just for the football game, but that, you know, it made a difference. So she's always trying to give back, and it's amazing.
So great. Any life lessons that you have learned from her, either directly or just from how she lives her own life?
Never boast. You know, you can have confidence, but don't let that become being rude to somebody that you care about, or even somebody that you don't know, because she understands, and she has taught us that the way to become a better person is just by caring for other people, no matter what their circumstance is, no matter what your circumstance is, and just making sure to do what's best always.
It's beautiful. Great job. Anything else you want to talk about or share about her?
She taught me pinochle, and I will forever thank her for that. So thank you, Nanny, for teaching me how to play pinochle.
Hello everyone, Lonnie Klein. I'm conductor emeritus of the Las Cruces Symphony Orchestra. I've known Wanda Bowman since actually when I was appointed in 1999. I know her mainly because I bought a lot of furniture from Wanda, and she's a woman of integrity, a woman of honesty, always has a great deal, spends a lot of time working with you, comes to your home, gives you ideas, doesn't push, and she's a big supporter of the symphony orchestra.
I am so impressed at how supportive she is of this community. How helpful has she been over the years?
Well, it's not even the Las Cruces Symphony Orchestra. She has reached out to so many nonprofits, children, families, through her business. Anyone that's in need, she'll either take care of it herself or rally her friends, family. She's a pillar in this community and very generous. As I said, a woman of honesty and integrity, and we need more people like Wanda Bowman.
How would you describe her to a stranger?
A stranger? Well, I don't think she's ever met a stranger. So there you go. Next question.
Best answer yet. Anything else that you just like admire about her or would want people to know about her legacy? Anything like that come to mind?
Her legacy will be that she is a supporter of education, a huge supporter of not just New Mexico State University, but children, families that are in need within the community. Again, a very honest, hardworking businesswoman. Someone who will reach out, someone you know that you can trust, who is fair, honest, and I just want to say that I did buy my motorhome from Wanda. Yes, I did. And I know, and she knows that I enjoy it very much. And I wish you a happy birthday, Wanda. Christina and I wish you a happy birthday. Best wishes. It's going to be a fun night, and I'm so happy to be a part of this evening. And we've got a great band, and I'm going to do happy birthday for you.
Hello, my name is Anna Mangino, and I've known Wanda for almost 30 years. She and I have been friends for a long time. I have been her banker forever, and we just became soul sisters, and she's actually the big sister that I have never had before. And I just love her, and hi Wanda, everything's fantastic, everything's marvelous. Everything's fabulous. I love you. And she is a caring, most kind, beautiful woman that I've ever known. And we have become very, very close.
Beautiful. Do you mind reading what you're going to say tonight?
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. It's great to see so many people here celebrating our friend Wanda's big day. Wanda has been Pistol and my friend for almost 30 years. We have gone through some significant ups and downs, celebrating the good times and comforting each other in the tougher times. We can count on each other. Wanda and I have learned and advised each other through the years. She's a big sister I never had. She's an amazing and awesome woman. Her loving heart is both giving and caring. Some of the things I love about my friend are, she says, let's have supper instead of dinner. That means you are old when you say that. Wanda says, I wish I didn't have to sleep so I could get more done. She would stay up 24 hours if she could physically handle it. She works around the clock on so many things. It's hard to imagine having so many great endeavors, and she puts her heart in. I don't know how many people have experienced this, but once Wanda starts laughing, you cannot stop her. She even laughs at herself because she's confident and comfortable with herself. Patience is not a virtue where Wanda is concerned. Have you ever seen Wanda in Let's Make a Deal or The Price is Right? Don't ever travel with Wanda without your work clothes. She's always been a human version of a whirlwind. She never stops loving, all the while making sure everything's covered. I sure do love my friend. Happy birthday, my sweet sister.
So beautiful. Is there anything else you would like to add to the video about what she means to you or anything? It's so beautiful.
Okay. What you mean to me in this world is our friendship. Love you. Wanda?
So my name is Heike Miller. I'm the pastor of University United Methodist Church here in Las Cruces. And I'm a proud, honored, we call it the German Shepherd of Wanda. I'm honored to be here tonight.
The German Shepherd, I love that. Tell me, how'd you get that nickname?
It's not a nickname, it's my job description. As I'm a shepherd, I'm a pastor, and Wanda is one of our flock and our sheep, and I love her, and I'm honored to walk alongside her as we're discovering the kingdom on earth, transforming the world every day in the way she works, in the way we work together in the community and in our church.
What do you admire about how Wanda lives out her faith?
I would say she's German, but that's one thing about it. It's a question of what do you need and what do we have and how can we transform the world together. Not putting fluff out in the world, but making something happen that makes a difference. And not just to one place, but to connect the pieces in the midst of it, in networking, in finding treasure in this beautiful community that we call here New Mexico.
What do you admire about her? What have you seen from how she lives faith first?
It's not words, it's action, and they're reflected in her character, the way she takes a stand, the way she pulls things through, and doesn't forget to keep an eye on the faces of the people, whether they're in joy or in pain, but she sees it. And she knows that God can use her in her faith to help love people in and put into a resilience and a strength that they probably didn't anticipate before they met her.
I've been told by family members that she treats everyone equally. Have you seen that as well?
It's not a question of which title you bring, where your roots are from. We're human beings, and together we're here to face challenges, to show designs, to make the world a better place in a constructive and in a very integral way that you sometimes don't find in many different other places in the world. Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Any lessons you have learned from Wanda?
Tons. I don't know how many. I don't know where to start. It's. I think keeping the strength and the joy in an authentic way in front of us. It's about the purpose. It's about the solution, and how will we get there. So one of the main sentences I keep learning from Wanda is, what can we do so that?
Beautiful. Anything you'd like to add about Wanda, what she's taught you, what you admire about her?
Thank her for resilience, for consistency, for being there and staying together with the people that God put in front of us. That's mission work and ministry on a low key with a high level of strength and longevity. Goals in the midst of it, and that together with a huge amount of humor and wits that keeps it alive and makes it interesting and new every day.
Yeah, and I love the term mission work.
Yes.
And she mentioned, she was like, it's not Africa, like it's not, yes. You don't leave to go do it. She does it here.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Wherever we are, there's people who have needs, there's people who need a little bit more help to look over the fence, and then we're not doing it in the charity way, but in a way where it becomes a mission that we all own it. And people can either receive, strive thoughts, or already find the dignity that they need. In the old Montessori style, help me to do it myself. So you're putting people on a level where they get empowered and engaged to learn to be self-sufficient in the end. That's mission work, whether you're in New Mexico, you're in Germany, or you're in Ghana or Zaire. Absolutely, yeah.
The last kind of thought that comes up for me is, so many people have said that, how much Wanda has supported them to be better ballerina, better businessman, better traveler, and that she gave them courage. Do you think like there is God in that? Like that, just like you can do it, you can do it.
Absolutely. Courage comes with it's for me one of the fruits of the Holy Spirit, to keep us balanced and not focused on the putting the fires out and reacting to needs, but to go in on a higher level, on the here is again the moment that we need to achieve, so that we can move forward, and that'll free up moving anxiety into being fearless, and maybe getting even the freedom of making mistakes and starting back up. I've seen that in Wanda, in her own walk of faith, and I've seen her doing it with other, whether it's the women in our church, whether it's a committee for the endowment of our church, whether it's in just working on the ground and seeing the people who need the moment of courage. It's more than a clap on the back. It's no fear, leave the anxiety behind, and let's move to a higher and a strong ground where you can strive. Yeah. In my greeting word tonight, one of the verses I'm going to give as a present is Proverbs 3, and which goes like, and many of us know it and are familiar and living by it too, is trust in the Lord with all your heart and lead not on your own understanding. Acknowledge Him in all your ways and He will make your path straight. This bumpy road and this coming out of maybe nothing or having to struggle yourself that Wanda had to experience too, is definitely something that is grounded in that faith that I take from Proverbs 3, because it reflects beautifully trusting in the Lord with all her heart, and not just to lean on that understanding, but to live by that and to know that He will make that path straight. I see it, and I'm thrilled to watch and see what unfolds next in Wanda's new year as she's living by these standards. So it's not about the conditions; it's about through the experience and through that trust in God, who's given her more wisdom, to grow in that dependency on God, growing in courage, in fearlessness, and defining the goal as simple and as genuine as it can be, mission work here in Las Cruces or in New Mexico or worldwide, connected. Yeah.
Hello there, I'm Barbara Hubbard, and I have been around this old world since 1927, and in Las Cruces, New Mexico since 1954. And I'm happy to say that I met Wanda when I was running the Pan American Center and bought furniture from her. In fact, I was probably her first customer, she and Bob. So that's the way we got acquainted. From then on, I won't call it a love affair, but it was certainly one that started growing as we got to know each other.
Will you tell me about your travels?
Oh, the travels you want to know about. Well, Wanda and I are, she doesn't know it, but we're fixing to go on another one in September, so I think I just cleared it a little bit with her. But we're football fans, and we're going to go with the team up to Minnesota. But to back up and say that we went to Africa together, we went to China together, we went over in Paris. In fact, they went off and left me in a church somewhere, but came back for me, thank goodness. But we've had more fun probably than two people our age have had.
Yeah, it's so great. What do you love about her?
If you really want to know the truth, her honesty. I mean, you know where you stand with her. You don't have to play games. You don't have to say, I'm sorry. It's just sort of, I'm going to use this phrase, damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead with Wanda. And she's a very honest person. She is concerned about our country. She's concerned and wants everybody to have the best in life to offer. And you won't find a better friend anywhere.
I have heard that she gives a lot, like she gives back to this community. Have you seen her heart in giving?
My Lord of mercy, yes. Not just her heart, but her whole self. She's very aware of children. That's the first level. Second level is those that are truly in need. Now, she's just about like most of us of our age. We worked hard for what we've attained in this life, and she doesn't mind helping anybody that really needs the help. Her heart is as big as, well, you just name it and I'll agree with it.
Anything you would like people to know about her or her legacy or what she means?
Well, pardon this expression, but you're going to miss her when she's gone. That is the one thing that the friendship has meant most to me. She and I are not afraid to say what we think when we think it. And we're great, I think, in working out all the details of shared going places with each other. In fact, to my knowledge, we've never had a ruffle. So to me, she's one of God's children. I respect her. And I don't know, me being about 15 years older than her, I hope I'm around to watch her for at least a dozen more years. Ha ha.
Beautiful. Anything else you'd like to add that I didn't ask you about?
No, it's just one of those things I guess I've said lately to several people as we move down that age bracket. You know, you have the hearing aids, and then I'm being operated on for a couple of eye problems, and I'm hoping and praying. My dad was blind, and I hope I'm never going to lose my sight because I know how it is. But Wanda's one of the most giving people that I've ever met, one of the true heart people I've ever met. And I hope our friendship lasts for many more years. Thanks a lot for asking, and God be with you.
I'm Susana Martinez, the 31st governor of the state of New Mexico. And I have known Wanda for probably 28 to 30 years. When I first came to live in New Mexico, I met Wanda when I was shopping for furniture for my home and was able to choose everything that I needed at Ashley Furniture.
I love that. Will you tell me about how she helped you in moments of like stress when you just can't do everything?
You know, that I think is the absolute most special part of her, is that after I lost my mom, who is the person I always turned to whenever things were challenging, is that I had the opportunity to turn to Wanda. Wanda was always upbeat. She wanted to know what challenges I was facing, but she always turned things around to be a positive. But she was also a great listener. And so I always felt like she was sort of that second mom you get, and I loved her for that.
Will you tell me about the Youth Conservation Corps Commission?
Yes, that is something that I am so proud of Wanda. I appointed her in 2012 when I was governor for YCC, and that employs youth, and it's part of a commission, part of the government. And so she gave her time, invested her own money and time to come and go, and what she did was make sure that we doubled the number of youth in New Mexico who received jobs and started to work, but never came to the state government for an extra penny, yet doubled the number of kiddos that actually were working in the state of New Mexico.
Incredible. One word I've heard a lot from people of all different ages is her strength, and her strength as a female leader.
I mean, Wanda, what she has done is broken the ceilings, glass ceilings of being a woman in business, an owner of an enormous business, a successful business. She's so strong in her personality, yet so warm. And when I say strong, I mean she gets things done. She doesn't pitter-patter and she doesn't complain about anything. She just says, this is the goal and this is the target and this is where I'm gonna get. And she does that, but she does it by bringing along an amazing team at Ashley Furniture. I mean, she really did some amazing work with her employees that were always kind to all the customers. I loved it. I loved her people when they would come. And one of the fascinating things she did when I became governor is I didn't have a chance. Everything is like crazy at the beginning. And I had a house that did not have any beds and did not have any dressers and did not have any of those things. And I needed to hurry up and choose something. Well, the first thing I did was call Wanda and say, I need to pick some beds and mattresses and things. I chose a couple of pieces, could not at all get to all the things I needed. She put everything together. She and her team, she brought an entire team with truckloads of furniture and decor and options and prints. And when I got home at 10 o'clock that night, I was never more grateful for the amazing woman who in her business did exactly what she does to perfection. And having broken that glass ceiling of being a woman, a leader in the community, a leader in business, an owner in her business, and then fixing the governor's residence to perfection, I couldn't have asked for more.
Do you feel that she's always had your back in a way?
Wanda's the kind of friend that will, she's a great girlfriend. And you can't always say that about all your girlfriends. You know, some of them are better than others, and Wanda, you just know that you can call her if you need a shoulder. You can always call her if you need some good advice. You know that you can call her and just say, how are you? How are you doing? We sit around in her kitchen table, just a couple of months ago, we were there and sat around, had a cup of coffee, had some sweets, had grapes together, and you know, it just feels like she's also my friend and she's so energetic, she's like someone my age. Not her amazing 80, but someone who's my age because we get along so well. And so yes, I do feel like she always had my back.
So beautiful. Anything else on your mind or heart that you'd want to share about Wanda?
Well, one of the things I do want to share is just the absolute energy that woman has. I cannot believe the hours that she works, the hour that she gets up and that she's at the store and that she's working and she's training people, but also she is very social in the evenings with friends and going out to dinner and events. I wish I had, at my current age, the kind of energy that she has. And I think it's one that we all want to aspire to have as we grow older as well.